I've decluttered my life many times in the past year, and every single time, the clutter came back, which is mildly embarrassing considering all the declutter videos I make, but it's also forced me to ask a question that I think many people never ask, which is, why does the clutter come back? Like, what is actually happening? Because it's not like I'm going on shopping sprees, I'm not hoarding stuff, and yet somehow, 4 months later, I'm looking around in my apartment, and it looks like I never decluttered at all. So I stopped trying to declutter harder, and instead built something that means I basically never have to do it again. A system I put in place that makes clutter basically impossible to accumulate. And I want to walk you through all of it because I genuinely think most people are stuck in this cycle of decluttering and recluttering their lives, and they don't realize that there's a way out. Any good declutter starts with something called the Purge, which basically means just get rid of as much stuff as possible. Whether it's old clothes, sentimental items, or just junk sitting in the corner of your room, the Purge is absolutely essential to declutter your life for once and for all. Now, there are many ways to do this step. You could follow the Konmari Method, Swedish death cleaning, or just a set of rules that work well for you, like I did with my childhood room a couple weeks ago. But in this video, I'll guide you through my method, a combination of all of it, the Loofy Method. Now, unlike other methods, the Loofy Method is done all at once, in one day. So here's how it works. We're going to start with an identity change, because clutter returns when identity stays the same. So ask yourself this question. What kind of person lives here? Is it a person that has few possessions? A person that values quality over quantity? A minimalist? Define the person you want to become, and your habits follow. And this part actually matters more than it sounds. There's research showing how cluttered people feel their home is and how much their home feels like them are strong predictors of well-being. People who feel like their home is cluttered report lower well-being, while people who feel a stronger sense of identity and comfort in their home actually report higher well-being. So this identity piece isn't just a mindset, it changes how your space actually affects you day to day. So take out a pen and paper if you need, or just take some time to think. What kind of person lives here? Now visualize it. Here's my answer. A person who values experience over material possessions. A person who values the simplicity of less over the complexity of more. A person who only keeps what they truly value and no junk. A minimalist. Now that we've defined our new identity, aka the kind of person we want to become, it's time for the Purge. Like I said, this is done all at once, so prepare yourself. This is going to maybe be fun, but will definitely be overwhelming. So follow along with me. First, gather every single item you own from every corner of your house. Everything. I don't care how much it is. Get all of it. Now, put it on your bed or on the floor or wherever it fits in the following piles. Clothes, books, paper, miscellaneous, and sentimental items. So now that you've gathered every single belonging you own into these piles, you're going to go through every item one by one and only keep it if it satisfies one of the following conditions. 1. It truly sparks joy in you when you hold it in your hand. It's an item that you truly love. 2. It's used regularly or absolutely necessary, like socks or underwear or a spatula. 3. It actively supports your new identity. And also, feel free to add your own criteria here if this feels too strict or not strict enough. Some of the rules I followed in my last declutter that you might find helpful are these. First, the 90-90 rule. If you haven't used an item in the last 90 days and probably won't use it in the next 90 days, get rid of it. The under 20 rule. If an item costs less than $20 and will take less than 20 minutes to replace, get rid of it. The shelf test rule. If an item fell off a shelf and broke today, would you replace it? If not, get rid of it. So feel free to find any criteria that you like and use those when you go through the items. Just make sure you write the criteria down and you look at them as you go so you remember your rules. Then go through every single item you own with that set of criteria. Do not put anything away until you've finished that category. Do not put any clothes away until you finish going through all your clothes. And this is the order you're gonna go. Clothes, books, paper, miscellaneous, and then sentimental items. This order comes from the Konmari Method. I've used it before many times and it works very well because you're building up momentum as you go and you're getting to harder and harder items. And once you finish with a category, then you can start putting things away from that category only. Okay, I know that was a lot very quickly. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments. I will respond to every single comment. Now that we've done the Purge, it's time to prevent ourselves from recluttering our lives. It's time to create the prevention layer. We do this by creating a set of rules for ourselves to follow. Your rules can be anything, they don't need to be my rules. But these are the ones that help me most in preventing clutter from creeping back into my life. If you like them, steal them. If you don't, hopefully they inspire you just a little bit. First, every item must have a home. This is the biggest one in my life. Every item you keep must have a designated spot. This spot does not change unless you change its home, and every time you finish using the item, it returns to its home. If you follow just this one rule, your space stays clutter-free all the time. My keys go in this valet tray. When I come home, they always go back in the valet tray. My shoes, they stay on this shelf. When I get back home, they go back on the shelf. They don't go on the floor in a random place. My home always stays clutter-free all the time. Rule 2, the 48-hour rule. If you feel like buying something that is non-essential, you must wait 48 hours. If you still want it, you can buy it after this period, but not before. This kills impulse buying almost completely, driven by mood, boredom, dopamine seeking, or whatever it is. It stops almost all of it. And it's scientifically proven to reduce impulse purchases, the ones that you will undoubtedly regret. So just try it out. Rule 3, the container rule. The space you have defines your limits. You do not buy more storage to keep more items. You do not buy items for which you do not have storage capacity. Have a reasonable amount of storage, and that defines your limits. Rule 4, one in, one out. This one is also huge. Once you finish the purge, every time you bring a new item into the space, another one of the same kind must go to make room. Get a new book, get rid of one of your books. Get a new shirt, get rid of a shirt. By get rid of, I usually mean donate if you can. Got some new socks, donate your old socks. Underwear, okay, maybe you don't donate your underwear, I don't know. Throw out your underwear, do textiles, whatever you can do with your underwear. Here's what these rules actually do. Most people rely on motivation. These rules remove the need for motivation entirely, and they turn your home into a closed system where clutter physically cannot accumulate. One in means one out. This is where you stop relying on willpower and you design your environment to keep things decluttered for you, because design beats discipline every time. Whatever is easiest, I will do. It's a human trait, so we make the right decision the easy decision. If putting something away takes a lot of effort, your brain will choose the kitchen table or the floor instead of its home. But if we remove the friction and make it just as easy, if not easier, to put your coat and hat back in the closet, then that's what happens every time. So here's how you make that happen. Rule 1, keep all flat surfaces as empty as possible. Desks, kitchen table, coffee table, bedside table, they should all be basically empty, because flat surfaces that have items on them just attract more clutter. So by keeping them clear, you tell your brain, no, you cannot just pile things onto here. Rule 2, you keep your daily items visible. Everything else is stored away. Your brain uses the environment around you as a reminder system. When things are out, you think, I should probably deal with that, but you don't. So piles form, things build up. The result is visual noise, stress, and clutter creep. So if you don't use it every day, it goes out of sight. Rule 3, drop zones. Clutter spreads from your pockets and bags. So to prevent this, you create drop zones for yourself. This could mean hooks in your entryway for bags and jackets by the door, maybe a valet tray for your keys and wallet, or a shoe rack for your shoes. Anything that prevents you from emptying your pockets onto some random surface when you walk in. Stop the clutter before it starts. 4, the clothing archive. Now this is one of my favorites. It's an ongoing maybe bag that gets donated once every month or two. You keep it in the back of your closet, but whenever you're unsure about an item, it goes in the maybe bag. You can always change your mind, but if you don't, or you forget about the item, it gets donated at the end of the month, and this creates a continuous decluttering with zero emotional friction. With this in the one in, one out, you're pretty much always reducing the amount of possessions that you own. So you're always decluttering without thinking about it. Most people do declutter events. This builds a declutter system that lasts. So you don't declutter and then fall right back to where you started. You declutter and stay decluttered. If you enjoyed this video, you can watch this video about how I decluttered my childhood room in one day, or this video about how I decluttered my entire life. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. I'll see you in the next one. In peace.